Wow, happy today. I am William Brown from IamWilliamBrown.com. This is Disconnect to Connect, one word conversations. One word conversations is a self discovery, relationship building conversation designed to help us look at our language to see how, um, by one word, that can cause connection or disconnection. We can think of all the lovely words that we can come up with and still find ourselves in a place of disconnection because words don't just come with definitions, they come with emotions and stories and expectations and a lot of other things. One More Conversation is brought to you by IamWilliamBrown.com, a place to help you be yourself and live your life. One way that I spotlight what's available at IamWilliamBrown.com is our U cards, which I looked on Facebook today and I realized this is a 1-year anniversary of the U cards. So the U cards came out a year ago today. So I guess happy birthday to the U cards, I guess. So if you want to get your U cards today at IamWilliamBrown.com. I'll figure out a way to have a special celebration or gift or something to do that. So the cards that I picked for today to set the intention for the conversation is I am curious, you are complete, and there's no one youer than you. Now, this is the moment where I moved some things around the other day. Ask you to share, like, comment, do all the things to let me know that you are a part of this conversation. This is going to be a fun conversation here. I don't know why. Sometimes things go through my head and I just decide to do it. So the word today is fly, right? Yeah, just want to see how fly shows up today. So as I do, I invite my guest in so we can have a conversation. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is the moment where I invite my guests to introduce themselves however it feels comfortable to them.
All right. My name is Kervin Searles. I am the owner and a therapist at Gravity Counseling Group in Greenwood, South Carolina. We provide counseling services throughout the whole state of South Carolina. I'm a father, husband, somebody's son, uncle,
Right.
all of that. So, and somebody's friend.
All right. All of those labels. Well, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you.
So the question of the morning is, how does the word fly land for you?
Ah, man. Fly. Of course, you have the more formal definition of moving through the air. But when I saw it, the first thing that I saw was or thought about was the slang, and my definition for it. There's a couple of different definitions that can go with it. But for me, it was the act of looking good,
Right.
looking fly, looking cool,
Right.
um, and then on your advertisement you had it right above my head, and I'm in this fashionable, or at least I thought fashionable,
Right. Right.
necktie and shirt. So um, to some degree it was befitting for me, but just thinking about it, in that slang term, feeling good about yourself,
Right.
on the appearance, and just
Right.
having that appearance. And it's amazing when you feel good about yourself,
Right.
when you look good. I think it was Deion Sanders used to have
Hmm.
a whole phrase. I don't know the phrase verbatim, but it said something to the extent of you look good, you feel good, you play good.
Right.
Um, and even though he said it in that manner, and it was funny at the time that he gave that out, you know, research proves if you feel good about yourself, you're gonna put out uh,
Right.
some of your better material, a better performance, so to speak.
Right. Right. Alter. Yeah. It's kind of for me. It's the same. There were two things that went through mine when I saw this word. It was fly, like like the like you said, looking good and all that other kind of stuff. And it was, I grew up questioning if I was fly, right? I
Okay.
felt like I wasn't, I wasn't cool enough. It's like, I just, you know, I will just admit it. I was just a preppy, right? I just, polo shirt, just kind of khaki pants, and in my neighborhood, that just wasn't fly, right?
Right.
And it didn't fly, right?
Right. 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 And it's
um,
amazing, we over time, I think we learn what's really fly, and ultimately it boils down to what I like.
right,
So,
right,
what I am attracted to. I tell people a lot of times I was whack in high school.
right,
I was the same person,
right.
but maybe I didn't. My ideal of fashion didn't align with everybody else's ideal at that time. So
Right. It's, look, there was a lot of us that didn't have fly money, but some of us could, could like make things look a little better than others, I guess, and kind of
yeah.
go from there. But the other thing, for me, there's a lot of music that, is a soundtrack of my life. And so there were two songs that kept on going through my head, and they were kind of contradicting, or kind of um, really allowing me seeing, I guess, where I am mentally right now. Is that so? One song was Lenny Kravitz, "Fly Away," right?
Mhm.
It's like, I want to get away, right? I just want to fly away, right? And kind of go there. And the other was, R. Kelly, "I Believe I Can Fly," and so that was a level of, inspiration, encouragement, and just kind of like, go after some things. So, but sometimes when you're going after big things, you just like, what, and it don't work out, you just want to fly away. So that's where I am, right? So
Yeah,
both of those songs, and try to really understand how my life is showing up for me.
yeah. And the Lenny Kravitz song, I kind of had forgotten about that one until you just said it. But I definitely thought about the R. Kelly song, and even when I was thinking about it, we have what we call the council culture, and it
Hmm.
was like, oh, you know, do I want to say that, or I want to talk about that with everything that's going on with him? But still, the premise behind the song within itself
Right,
gives you, some type of motivation,
right,
some inspiration, despite anything that was attached to it. The words and music itself can give you inspiration. We can't lose sight of that, the actual the wording of it.
right. I think for me, and I appreciate you saying that. There's sometimes I have posted a number of things about cancel culture and what I think of it, and what I think, in comparison of, and some people, let's say, respectfully disagree with me. But I think cancel culture is more about fear than kind of really making things right, make kind of correcting things. And I think when I look at, I don't want to say look at R. Kelly, but look at how we show up just in general, right? There are some wonderful things that we do, um, and we also have the potential to do horrible things.
Mhm.
And so it is within all of that inspiration that, one day I believe I can fly. The next day, right, I'm going to fly upside somebody's head, right?
Right.
And, and the next day I want to fly away, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of ways that we can show up, and that whoever sees us in those moments will decide or dictate, you know, who we are to them. And so my level of, self-awareness coaching is, just acknowledging that there's so many parts of us, right? There's so many. I don't want to say, we are all R. Kelly, because it's like, oh no, we're
Yeah.
not gonna go that
Whoa.
far, right?
Let's not do that.
Right. But there are so many different sides of us, that if at one moment, if we stop there, it may, you know we won't, um love ourselves, or really acknowledge everything that we can be, and how we're showing up.
I like how you said it's about fear, and I do think we fear all the sides of us. The
Mm,
complexity within us. We don't, and maybe I should say me instead of we.
right.
I don't have all good. There are some bad parts to me
Mm,
um, that I try to work through and overcome. And when you think about it in that sense, we're all a work in progress.
right.
And if we're all a work in progress, at different times that fly word can actually mean different things to us.
Right.
We want to fly away, or I feel fly, or as you said earlier, fly up against somebody's head.
Right.
But we're all a work in progress. We can hit the lowest of lows, and we can hit the highest of high. And we just have to, with me being a therapist, if we counsel us
Mm,
when we're at our lowest of low, then what am I in this profession for? Why am I trying to help somebody get out of a spot or a transition? You know,
hmm.
if we're going to counsel them anyway, um,
Right.
can that person change? I don't want to use, again, R. Kelly, but I've probably done some things. I'm gonna say probably because I don't know who's watching my kid.
Right.
I've probably done some bad things.
Right.
But if I got stuck right there, if I was counseled right there, then I
Right.
wouldn't be where I'm at right now to be able to help people from the experiences, from those mistakes that I've made, from those bad things that I've made, and I had the consequences to go along with them. Then I wouldn't be able to actually help somebody else
Right.
um, if I'm counseled
Right.
because of the bad thing that I did
Right.
or
And
probably did.
or probably did, allegedly, right? Now they
Yeah,
say
yeah, yeah, totally.
there is, what's coming up for me is like the difference between, flying away and running away, right? I guess I'm still there. It's like if I run away, people could possibly catch me, right? People could catch up with me. If I fly away, I'm out of here, right? It's just, you might see me again or anything like that. And I think the mentality that I have, that I want to be above of my bad choices. I want to be a bad, my situation. I want to be above that. And it's reminded me of a word. I started the year off with the word. I do a word of the year, and the word was transcend. And I accepted it and I rejected it because it was like, okay, I don't want to like, you know, transcend from things. I want to like deal with stuff. If stuff comes up, I want to be with it and I want to deal with it, but I don't want to get stuck in it. Right. And so the more that there is this unease with that word, but I really, I went back because, we get to decide, right, for ourselves. I went back and I changed my word to greater. And so 2021, my word of the year is greater, and I'm going to be unpacking that throughout the year. And so in the context or within the conversation of fly, for me, it's there is more, right? There is more. I want to see beyond what I see. I want to really move, get elevated, above this, but still be close enough to kind of deal with it and work with it. And so I can be fly. So I can be um stylish and show up as my best within it. But not get so caught in it because one day you're fly and then the next day you're out of style, right? you know, and then it's but some people still rocking it, right? you know.
And that's where it comes in, where we have to determine what is fly. We
Mm,
have to determine, and I'm gonna use fashion for example. Levi's. I rock Levi's all the time.
right.
But and there's a different way that people wear jeans now
Hmm.
than back in the 80s or
Right.
even back in the 90s for that matter. But Levi's have been consistent throughout that time.
Hmm.
Um, I love that particular brand. That is me. I'm not going to change that brand no matter whatever way
Right.
people decide to wear them. So I have to determine what is fly. I have to determine what is good. And that can be influenced
Right.
by others. It can
Right.
be influenced by society. It can even be influenced by my experiences. You know, if I go away from jeans and go into suits, you know,
Right.
I'm wearing suits all my life, and I have a totally different outlook or perspective on suits now. I remember, I don't know if you remember this. I might be dating myself. You remember the suits with the bright colors
Oh yeah.
and and
Stay away
the
from those, right? Me, I
yeah,
am.
bright colors and really baggy. I
Mm.
remember at Michael, I think it was Michael Jordan's retirement. He had a light blue or
Right.
royal light blue
Yeah, it
suit,
was. It was
and he
like I
was
was like I can't rock that.
right. I actually had an orange one, an orange
Wow.
suit. Yeah, I can't remember if it was double breast, but I do know it was really big. But I couldn't wear based off of the way I've worn them in the past. Now I just like a two-button suit, and I just think it's
Right.
classic. I think it'll stand the test of times no matter
Right.
what era we're in. But again, that comes from me wearing them, having experiences with them, looking at other uh, eras,
Right.
and then determining in my own head what is cool and what is fly. And that goes beyond just fashion. It goes into my life. Like I think it's fly to be a father.
Right.
I think
Wow.
it's fly to be a mentor.
Mm.
I think it's fly to help people. You know,
Mm.
I don't care that I'm necessarily getting paid to mentor or to help. I feel like it'll come back.
Right.
It'll come back. This show, I thought that was fly.
Right.
When I thought the note when I got the notification of the premise, just wow, one of those things where I hate I didn't think of that.
Right.
I determine those based off of my experiences.
Wow. I appreciate that because I think many times, as I said before, I question what is fly, right? Or because I'm looking at the external, right?
Mhm,
Because many times I let society say, right? I try to look up to that. I try to live up to that standard, right? It's like, okay, that's fly. You can see the girls like that, or kind of stuff. That was that,
mhm,
young mind. And then it's like trying to pull that off, and it's like, yeah, I can't. So then, like you were saying, you have to decide for yourself. I mean, for me, I have, in wearing suits, the more buttons, it just like messes with me, right? Right? It's like okay, because I'm one of those people that if I got buttons, I gotta button them, and it's like when you get like eight, but it's like, oh, yeah, that's just too much, right?
right,
I mean, it's like give me two, right? Right? And maybe I'll button one, right? And kind of go from there. And so, but you see some, like I said, again, you see some people that are like rocking it. It's like, whoa, right? They're really making that work. And I think the reason why people can make things work for them is because they have taken it on. Like you said, they have made the decision that, hey, I feel good, I look good, there's a level of confidence, and kind of do that. And the more that we can show up to our life, I love how you said, being a dad is fly, right? Being a, and it's like, really, what are we willing to kind of just own, right? And really just be that. That's where, when I have a conversation about self-confidence, it's not something that you put on, it's something that you experience over a period of time. And it's like I'm showing up as myself, and it's like, okay, yeah, all right. It's like, yeah, I can rock this, right? Let's go, right? It's like really because there is an awareness of who you are. So it's like it's about the clothes and it's not about the clothes. It's about what you're doing and it's not about what you're doing. It's what you really think of yourself. And so the more that it's like I said, it's the fascinating thing for me is how the definition of fly is being above everything and move, and flying and just like soaring, right?
Mhm.
But how within our culture, we've kind of like turned it into something totally different to it's kind of a more grounded thing. So instead of this airy or aerial view and kind of something that you're in the air, it's a more grounded. The more that the people that are fly are comfortable in their skin, that have this assurance that when I got this on or when I'm doing this, you can't stop me type of thing. And it feels like it's like total opposite. And it's just amazing with language how we can, I don't know if it's reappropriate, but just really kind of make it our own and really find um f- more to it. I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know if you can understand what I'm.
Yeah, and when you said it's amazing how we can take flying can go. It means to soar, move in the air, and we can take it and ground it. And I feel like taking and grounding it as a culture is almost like um, I'm trying to think of Twitter now because man, it's amazing what's on Twitter. It's like allowing the powers that be, for the sake of argument, I'm gonna say the powers that be would be traditional media,
Right.
uh,
Okay.
um, media outlets like commercials, news, maybe even um, just anything on TV. I'm gonna use that,
Got it.
allowing them to tell us what is good, what is not good,
Right.
what food to eat, what food not to eat, um, what looks good, again, fashion wise, what doesn't look good,
Right.
um, what you should be aspiring to be at this particular age.
Right.
You know, for somebody, I remember my the first home that I had, I was 30 or 31.
Mm.
And after getting it, I think I was 30. But after acquiring that, I was talking to somebody else, and they had acquired theirs at 25.
Mm.
All right. But in my mind and my thought process, because of the people that were around me, I was doing pretty good at 30. And that particular person, they felt like they had to get it at 25
Wow.
um, of the influences that were around them at that time. I'm saying that to say we can ground things based off of, like I say, other people, society, or even the environment that we come up in, either our neighborhood or our family members,
Right.
uh, our friends, our
Hmm.
school, uh, the area geographically that we're in. I remember I don't play it as much as I used to in gaming systems. I am currently, I have a PS5. No, I don't have a PS5. We have a PS4 at
Okay.
home. But um, and I came to Greenwood after college, Greenwood, South Carolina, and everybody here played the PS4,
Hmm.
the PlayStation. It wasn't PS4 at the time; it was just the PlayStation.
Right.
And then I moved to Aiken, Augusta area, and everybody there played the Xbox.
Hmm.
So then I switched to playing the Xbox.
Xbox. Right. Okay.
Then I come back home to Greenwood. Everybody's playing the PlayStation. I go back to the PlayStation.
Right.
Tomato, tomato.
Right.
But I'm influenced by my environment, the people that are around me.
Hmm.
Then we can, going back to your point, can allow the influence to really overtake us instead of us determining it,
Right.
overtake us and determine what is good for us.
Right.
And the older
Right.
you get, the more you become comfortable
Right.
at a lot. In most cases, the more you become comfortable. And you know what? Nah, I'm not with that.
Right.
I'm not with
Right.
it at all.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and to go back to, there's no one newer than you. I mean, we say that, and I think that's a nice thing, an empowering thing. but then we allow influences from other people to take away our you-ness, right?
Mhm.
And then we have to
Yes.
find ourselves, right? You
Right.
know,
Right.
it's like I was right here, but I let other people to do that. It's kind of interesting. I was reading this morning, just getting ready for the day and getting the work and this show, and a word came to mind that I don't use often. It's seen as a very negative word, and it'll be on one of my shows later, but I want to bring it within this conversation for some reason. Um, and it's propaganda.
Mm.
And it's really all of it is, if you break it down. I mean, it has so many other feelings and emotions. If you break it down, it is just basically communicating an agenda. That's it. You are basically putting a series of things to communicate an agenda, and it's like sometimes our friends, the media, our movies, or something is putting together this. It's like, what are you saying here? When you see someone shows up in a suit with eight buttons, and it's like, what are you saying here? It's like, then I get into, for me, I find myself looking at movies or looking at things and then comparing that to my life, and then saying, instead of saying, okay, that's just something, right? Or I'm missing that. And it's kind of interesting because I really want, I've been married for 30 years, and
Congratulations.
thank you. And we watch romantic comedies, and sometimes I get caught in the vortex of Lifetime movies with my wife, and it's like take one for the team, right? And it's you know, but I feel that sometimes the movies that we're watching, it's like propaganda to telling us how to live our lives, how we should show up for each other, and it's like, sometimes after my wife and I watch a movie together, we're having a conversation about how it relates to our life, and it doesn't, right? And it's just like, it's just really crazy. And it's like, we want to be influenced, right? We want to, be a part of the culture, right? We don't want to stick out too much, but we stick out. The reality is that we stick out. And it's like, I wonder, moving back to Greenwood for you, um, if you're just like, you know what, I am just going to keep my Xbox, and just like, I'm just going to be rocking that,
Right.
How, but then you would be limited to the people that are closest to you in the same area to kind of play, the same game together, to kind of be with each other. And so sometimes accepting that reality, right? Accepting, um, I don't know, their standards keep the connection, right?
Right. Right. It can keep the connection, and then keeping that connection. Here's the caveat to that. If I keep that connection, is it going to prevent me from growing?
Hmm.
Right.
Wow.
So if just using that example, if I keep my Xbox, everybody else keep their PlayStation. All right, and I don't have that connection, but I get better because I'm not able to just kind of play for fun, but
Right.
I'm playing with people in different areas. It's making me better. Now I can get into tournaments. Maybe I can win some money. Maybe I can
Right.
make a career out of it.
Right.
Um, or I switch over and just play the PlayStation, and now I'm just having fun and hanging out and never really getting in and better, just kind of taking time away from
Right.
it. Um, when we're this podcast here in particular, um, I'm not sure if anybody in my area is, and when I say my area, I'm talking about my city of Greenwood,
Hmm.
are they're doing any podcasting or anything like that, any
Hmm.
media. But
Right.
it interests me. And so going to what interests me.
Right.
I'm gravitating towards that, and hopefully can do some things with it myself and be able to to grow.
Right.
But if I just do what everybody else is doing,
Right.
what am I doing in the end?
Right.
What am I doing?
Right. And you can't fly, right? Like,
Right, right. Exactly.
right.
I can't transcend. I can't get higher than
Right.
what, maybe they are, or what I see them being.
Right. It's something and I learned this from a mentor of mine, that there was this balance of honoring my mentor, um, and making decisions for myself, right?
Mm,
And it's like you you have those people in your life that are an influence and that are helping you kind of see some things. But the more that I embrace the confidence that, okay, this is what my mentor is saying, or this is what my mentors are saying, but this is what I'm saying, and this is what I'm going to do. And I think it's like what you were saying about, um, I can, I have to decide. We have to decide if we're going to grow
mhm.
or not. And sometimes there, it's how it's come up in my life. I had to leave my family, and I still hear about this. I'm like 53 years old, and I still hear about, you moved away, right? I mean, it's like, get over it, right? But there was a point in my life and in my late 20s where I said, if we don't leave now, we're never going to leave. And there was this feeling that there was so much more. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't horrible. But there was something more that I felt that we need we needed to fly. We needed to, spread our wings and figure this life out. Our family. Not underneath this a mentality that we had. But there was always this guilt and this struggle of, yeah, the awareness that I have wings, right? Right.
Right.
And then stretching your wings, and then using your wings, right? I mean, that was like years, right? In those three, type of thing. And it's like, um, really want to be able to grow or fly to and like I said, honor your family, honor the people that care about you, but still live your life is, sometimes it's a very tough way of showing up.
It's almost like we're going backwards on this conversation. I like the last point. You might have to correct me on how you said it. You have wings to fly, and prior to that, you stretch, and then prior to that, in the beginning, you got to actually
Right.
know that I actually have wings.
Right.
And uh, all of us isn't, or not isn't. We don't always think about that.
Hmm.
You know, I am capable of flying.
Hmm.
I'm capable of being great. I said this a couple of months ago on a podcast. We all can be LeBron James in our respective fields, whatever it is that we decide to do.
Hmm.
Um, and maybe I was, going a little far to say that all of us can be LeBron James, but all of us can be great
Right.
in our respective fields. But we have to know that we can do it.
Right.
We have to understand that it's within everybody's wheelhouse to be really good at something,
Hmm.
doing something. It We're all capable of it. We need to find out what it is. We
Right.
all can't be podcasters. We all
Right.
can't be therapists. We all can't be basketball players.
Right.
We can't all be construction a construction company.
Right.
Uh, but we can all be great at something that we're good at.
Right. Discover your greatness
Your
because
flyness.
right, your flyness, right? It's like, and I think it's go, for me, I'm going back to the suits, right? It's like just because you're flying a suit don't mean I got to be flying that suit. And that's okay, right? And so I'm not less fly because I can't rock that suit, right? I have my own flyness, right? And yeah, and it's like where are we going to embrace? So this is what I call this is called a download. A download is something comes to mind, and it's coming out of my mouth, and I have no idea what I'm talking about. So good luck with it, right?
Right.
So 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 yeah, it is. Um, when can we embrace the fact that we don't just have a purpose, but we are purpose, right? And we get to determine how we fly and what our what we're comfortable with and what we're and how we wear our confidence and all of those things that um, it feels like we leave for other people. And it is, I a couple weeks ago I had the word genuine, and um, most of the times we leave that to other people to decide if we're genuine. We kind of look for validation from other people.
Mm-hmm.
But the only person who can really know if you're being genuine or is not is you. you know and it's like and I feel like it's the same thing with fly. you know the ladies can call you fly, but if you don't feel like you fly, you won't even walk out the door, right?
Right.
They're just acknowledging what you already know, right?
Right. 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 Right.
And it's like the more that we basically show up in our life, then then people can acknowledge what we're what we're putting out there. Like when like I said again with the suit, there's sometimes that, like I said, I'll try, but if I'm not feeling it, other people ain't feeling it.
Right.
Right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I like the word you said, validation. We all need validation, um, and we use it. We use it as confirmation, and whatever we're thinking. What we should not do is use it to determine who we are,
Hmm,
to define. Let someone. That's almost as if you're letting someone else define
right.
who we are. Um, so uh, we all need validation. We can use it to our benefit, but we cannot allow it to determine who we are. And
Right.
I saw a comment come across the screen, so
Right.
I kind of throw it off with my full thought there.
Yeah, I'm
Definitely,
sorry. But I saw that. I just kind of reinforced that. We all have something that we're great at, and
yeah,
so yeah, that was the other thing. Sometimes I try not to. It's like I want to put it up, and it's like I don't want to break your concentration there. But I really get that. I'm there is you know curious was the word. I am curious, and there's a part of me that it's like, okay, let me try to rock that 8-button suit now. It's like
no,
that's
don't do that. That's not what you want to do.
that's
No, not right now. Well, at least don't do it now.
right. Yeah, it's like, so it's just kind of go from there. I think we can talk about this for hours, but
Right.
yeah, I'm sure. Is there anything, I mean, there's a lot of things that came up within this conversation. Is there anything that you want to leave everybody with today?
Just with as the comment that came across from Miss Tiffany. everybody can be great at something.
Mm.
Let's just try to go out, be cognitive, be intentional about um, what you bring to the table in life. Be
Right.
intentional about your purpose. Be intentional about what you like, what you dislike, so that you can determine your path and it's not determined for you. We
Right.
don't allow the propaganda to
Right.
lead us. So just be intentional about the things that you bring into your mind, the things you entertain and you engage in, and just see how it influences you,
Right.
and go with the things that influence you for the better, that you enjoy doing.
Wow. Well, thank you very much. This has been a great conversation. You've talked me out of, wearing an eight button suit. So I think my wife thanks you, right? Right. um, but yeah, this has been great. And I guess I can embrace fly. I'm still going to be having the R. Kelly song through my head all day, I'm sure, every time I talk about this. Right? But we can go from there. I would love to say our goodbyes within the green room if you're able to stay. But so that is great. Thank you. Well, um, yeah, there is a number of ways that fly shows up, and yeah, I still feel this need to fly away. But I think just fly above. Um, but I got a terrible image of buzzard, just flying above, just kind of hovering, So I don't want to hover, right? Right, type of thing. I don't know. The images that go through my head sometimes, it's just amazing. But yeah, we get to decide what's fly. We have the confidence. We have the assurance. Um, we have the awareness. Yeah, don't we? I'm trying to get exactly what my guest said about validation is good because it lets us know that we're on the right track. But don't let validation um, determine who you are. It has nothing to do with who you are. Validation has nothing to do with who you are. It is just that assurance, reassurance that you're on the right track. So I hope this conversation was of value to you, not just to your day, but to your life. I invite you to reach out to me at IamWilliamBrown.com. Have a complimentary coaching session with me to help you be yourself and live your life. Because the world wants you, the world needs you, but the world isn't waiting for you. So go be you. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you tomorrow on One Word Conversations.